The plate you see here is the plate that we did in the previous demo about drawing with washes, and now we're going to process this. I'll show you what happens here if you draw your finger through it or anything. It'll remove it because it's powder. And once you apply this and let it dry, it turns back into its powder form. So it needs to be set and fused to the plate so that we can print it. Again, if you wanted to, if you weren't happy with the drawing, you could take it to the sink and wash it off and reuse the plate. We're going to go ahead and set this, and I've tried using the heat gun, and it's really hard to do efficiently without warping the plate, because in order to get the plate hot enough, it tends to overheat this plastic film and make it warp. And once it warps, it becomes deformed, and there's nothing you can do about it. You have to throw it away. So in order to avoid that, I am using some mineral spirits here, and I'm going to apply this to the plate. And it's quite easy to do. It's a little strange at first, but you'll get used to it. And you can pour this directly along the plate on one edge and let it kind of seep through it. So I can do that with this bottle of mineral spirits, or it's a little bit easier, I think. I've put it into a bottle with a dropper. It's a little easier to control. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this on, and I'm going to just apply it quite liberally to this edge. I might put another row upon it. And I don't know how well this will show up in the video, but I'm just letting it, I'm lifting the film and manipulating the mineral spirits. It's quite easy to see in person, and letting it seep into all of the areas with the toner. And what's happening here is when the mineral spirits contacts the toner powder, it melts it, it changes it, and it fuses it to the plate and bonds it fairly permanently to the plate surface. So this will be very helpful in preserving our image, so that when we go ahead and print it, it won't lift off the plate. Sometimes it's helpful, I don't know how well this will show, but you don't need a lot of mineral spirits. You don't want to use more than is necessary. So I'm trying to just let it kind of gradually seep into the image. And it looks like we need a little bit more, so I'm just going to take my eyedropper here and apply a little bit more where I think we need it. And we will continue letting nature take its course. But other than that, I'm just going to put this aside and let it continue evaporating, and it might take half an hour, it might take an hour. And then after it's totally dry, we'll do another round of setting it with the heat gun. Most of these things will print better if they are heat set, so I'm going to show you how to use a heat gun to do that. It may not be necessary to heat set all of these. I do it as a precaution because most of them do better with the heat set. So this is a heat gun. It's a Black & Decker. It has 2 settings. Not all heat guns have 2 settings, but this one does, and I'm going to use the lighter setting. The heavier setting, which is number 2, it's kind of hard to use because often it will melt the plate. So I'm just going to use number 1. And you want to keep in mind that this takes a minute or so for this to warm up completely. So I'm just going to let it run for a little bit until it comes up to full heat. And then when I feel like it's ready, maybe 20 seconds or 30 seconds or so, we'll pass it over the plate about an inch from the surface, maybe a little bit more. You don't want to get too close. You want to keep it moving. And in this case, I have a glass tabletop that I'm used for most of my processing. I don't want to place this directly on the glass because it may crack the glass. So I have a piece of sheet metal here that I put the plate on, and it's great because it conducts the heat and it will help bake or heat up the plate. There's other ways to do this. That you can put this in the oven and bake it for 10 minutes or so at, I think, 325 or something like that. I don't recall exactly what the temperature setting is, but I'll give you that information. But doing it this way is fine, and it's less trouble. I mean, who has an oven in their studio? I mean, that's not a foolproof method either. When it comes to these kinds of things, nothing is really foolproof. It's just important to take notes about what you've done, or, do it several times so that you understand the cause and effect. I'm passing the heat gun over this plate rather methodically. I'm going perpendicular to the plate and then the other direction, about an inch from the surface of the plate. Keep it moving, and we'll do this for 3 or 4 minutes. With all things printmaking, you just have to be patient and kind of get into the flow. It's the zen. Things take a little time. And I think this will be the last pass. I'm going to go across the plate again, and I think then it'll be good to go.